Oh, yes. Welcome to the Gov Shack. So happy to have you with me here this evening, a little bit past 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Usually, Gov Shack is on Monday. Not. Usually, it's at 7 p.m. Not. So I'm just throwing stuff out there because I want to have something out. I want to have a Gov Shack every week. And I am insanely crazy busy this week. As you guys know, I am spending all of my time, an insane amount of my time, literally out there trying to gather signatures. This is the last couple of weeks for me to do that. So for those of you who can be helping me out on that, I cannot stress that enough. We are still behind. I wish we weren't. I wish I could tell you that we're doing great. We are not. We are behind. So we need a big push this week. If you are a registered Republican in New York State, I need you right now. If you haven't, I'm not joking. Tell your friends and family to go to LarrySharpe.com, download one of the petitions, and you go, but Larry, I don't have an 8x14. I don't give a shit at all. Put on an 8x11. Okay, I don't care what you get since you're on in. I don't care. Get it on a 3x5 card. Don't care. Download it, print it, sign it, have someone else witness it who's also Republican, and mail it into the address right there. Do that immediately, like today, tomorrow. Yes, we need as many as we possibly can. If you have time, please go out. Find time. I find time. You must find time too. Go out and find Republicans who you know and have them sign that petition. You witness it and mail them into me. It is important. Please do so. We need them. We are far behind. We are thousands behind. I wish we were not, but we are. It's true. I don't want to sit here and blow smoke. We are behind. I need you to do it now. If you're saying to yourself, but Larry, I thought you were magic. I am magic, but the rules are against me. So do the thing. And I know there's some of you going to say, but Larry, I don't have time. Larry, I can't. If you are someone who is happy with how New York's going, no worries. Don't bother doing it. You will get Kathy Hochul again. Life is good. No worries. You're doing just fine. If you are someone saying New York State's a disaster and I don't want it to be a disaster and you're a registered Republican, get my petition. Do it if you are that person. That's all I'm going to say. So please, if you can, I will, of course, be out doing stuff because I'm always out doing stuff. And I will be out this weekend. For those of you who don't know, this week, actually, I will be out tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will be at Orange Strong, New York at the Rustic Wheelhouse in Chester, New York at 7 p.m. I'll be collecting signatures there too. So I collect signatures too. Remember, I don't do anything. I don't point my finger at you, so I point at myself first, right? I'm not going to ask you something I wouldn't do. So I'm getting them tomorrow. I'll be out there. I'll be at the Donald J. Trump Kings County Republican Club on Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Come on down there. Lots of Republicans there. Get some signatures. Please do that if you can. And then Saturday, I'll be petitioning at the St. Patty's Day Parade in Bayside, Queens. We'll be petitioning along up and down the coast, up and down the sides. We'll be doing that. We did it in Rochester. We do it again in Queens. Rochester's pretty good. We got a bunch of people. We should get a bunch in Bayside too. So come on out, help petition. If you already petitioned, then just say hi. Come see me if you can. All of those events are free. Come if you can. Love to see you. This is our last weekend of petition. We can petition through next week, but not through next weekend. The last petition day is April 2nd, April 2, deuce. After that, no more. So this is our last weekend. I need us to get out there. I'm not joking. We need this. It's really important. Help out to the best of your ability. If you're saying, Larry, I can't do it, then write me a massive check so we can get more people to do it. There we go. Either one works. You pick. All good. To do that, LarrySharpe.com/donate. LarrySharpe.com/donate will make that happen. That will help tremendously. If you can do that, please do so. But if you've done all that stuff already, the smallest thing you can do is click the like button. If you don't click the like button, you're just a jerk right now. Click that button. Don't be a jerk. Click the button. It's a little bit, click it. It's fine. If you can share this or repost this someplace, please do so. It does matter. Every bit counts. I'm trying my best to share this around to get it going. So let's make that happen if we can. All right. There's a couple of things I want to bring up, but I think the biggest one is, for those you don't know, there are several companies that are either leaving or seriously kind of toning down or pulling back, I should say, on New York State. So I know the most recent thing I was talking about now is, Kathy Hochul's begging the billionaires to come back. I hear that all the time. I got it. It's true. She did. But so did Cuomo. Cuomo did it too. He was like, come back, I'll cook. He was joking about it because he talked about it back then. It was happening back then. But here's the bigger issue. Companies are leaving. Companies like CVS, they're not leaving it, they're shutting down. Companies like Target. Lots of companies are check out Wendy's. Is it Wendy's? No. It's one of the fast food places. I forgot which one it is. I think it's Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut also leaving New York State. They're walking away. They're shutting things down. They're making stuff worse, right? As they think stuff's worse, they're walking away. So why is this special? Because a Target CEO actually talked about why. He literally talked about why. That was not a common thing. Usually just walk away. Now here's the issue. Instead of them saying, wait a minute, Target's walking away, we should fix things. No. Target's walking away and they went, how dare you leave after we gave you so much? I'm not joking. That was the response. How dare you leave after we've given you so much? Well, if you've got to give them so much, maybe it's because our system sucks. So let me cover this piece if I can. I will cover this to the best of my ability. Here we go. I will show you and you'll see what I mean. Yes, it's Target.
Pulling back from New York. And when city and state officials demanded answers, the CEO answered in detail.
See, they demanded answers because we gave you stuff to come, so you've got to do it. And he went, oh, you want me to tell you why? Oh, that was dumb. I'm gonna.
What followed wasn't a corporate apology.
Nope.
It was a point-by-point breakdown of why one of America's largest retailers says New York no longer works for them financially.
Did you see that? What a smack in the face. Now, it's been true forever, but it's never been in writing like this. This is literally, here, your state sucks. Target is saying that. Your state sucks. Yes.
The response has divided business leaders, policy experts, and everyday New Yorkers who depend on those stores.
There's the problem.
The closures didn't come out of nowhere.
That's true.
Target confirmed it is closing or downsizing multiple New York locations across the 5 boroughs and surrounding suburbs. Workers at affected stores were notified with limited lead time.
Now, how are people going to start getting them jobs back? They're not. They're not. We talk all the time about food deserts and this desert and that desert. Gone. Making things worse.
For many, it was the first sign that their jobs were at risk.
Yep.
For the neighborhoods around those stores, neighborhoods where affordable retail options are already.
Now look at those X's. Those are all apartment buildings, large apartment buildings, right? Generally speaking, these are not where wealthy people live. Unless they're very, very tall skyscrapers, these are not. Many of these can be public housing. So what does that mean? This is where the average working class or even a poorer New Yorker lives. Target for them is a big deal, right? It's a big deal for them. Gone. Gone.
Scarce. It was another blow to an already strained economic environment.
Yep.
Some of these workers had been with the company for years, building seniority, benefits, and financial routines.
So now that's gone. Now, some of you might go, well, Target, come on, is that a big deal? Yes. When you're working class, Target matters. It can be your primary job if you spend a lot of time there and you become a manager and move up. Number one, or two, if it could be a side hustle for you. Make some extra cash on the side, maybe getting benefits. Yes, it does matter.
Around a job they had no reason to believe was at risk. The short notice didn't just create uncertainty, it created an immediate crisis for households that had no backup plan in place.
And jobs are being lost everywhere. So where are they going to get those jobs back from? No answer. No answer.
Target's presence in New York wasn't built overnight. The company spent years and hundreds of millions of dollars establishing a footprint in one of the world's most competitive retail markets.
Yep.
Urban format stores, smaller layouts optimized for dense neighborhoods, expanded grocery sections.
Look at all the things Target had to do to get in. And they went, we're going to do this. We're going to spend all the time, money, and energy to survive in New York City. We're going to go do this. Awesome.
Digital integration. Target positioned itself as a modern retailer, capable of thriving in high-cost urban environments.
See how cool they are?
The closures now raise serious questions about whether that bet ever paid off. At the time, the expansion looked like a strategic masterstroke, bringing a national brand into neighborhoods that major retailers had historically avoided, capturing a customer base that was underserved and loyal. The urban format was designed specifically to work within New York's physical and economic constraints.
So I want you to be clear. This is what you keep hearing every person who loves big government tell you. The private market doesn't care. The private market doesn't care. Could government even come close to doing this? No. No, and I'm going to show you their answer in a minute. It's an embarrassment, right? It could come close. Only the private sector could do this. Government could never do this, ever. They would fall apart in 5 seconds, and it would take 30 years. They'd never do it. Target was able to do so. And we said, you know what? Smack in the face.
Smaller square footage, curated product selection, faster inventory turnover. The premise was sound. The execution, in many locations, ran into a cost environment that the original projections didn't fully account for. City officials didn't hold back. Public statements framed the closures as corporate abandonment.
See, this is what I love. It's the company's fault. They've abandoned us. They should just suck it up and pay. They should just be terrible. Literally, how is corporate abandonment even a phrase that we have? How embarrassing that is, that we would, it's because they're bad people. That's why they left. They should just be punished. They should just be, that's what they should do.
A large, profitable company walking away from communities it helped shape. Several officials pointed to the tax incentives and zoning accommodations Target received.
Why did you require tax incentives? $24.2 million in tax incentives and specialized zoning agreements. Why do we have zoning? I've said get rid of it. Why do we even have it? What you should learn from this is if you have to bribe them with $24 million and zoning accommodations, that maybe those things shouldn't exist. Just they should exist. And those things, and more people would come.
Received when opening New York locations, arguing the company made commitments it is now breaking. The political pressure was swift and very public, and the officials weren't.
So the answer, by the way, the answer for New York City, New York State wasn't, you know what? We should make things better. The answer, I'm not joking, was shame. We thought the right answer is shame. Now, I told you all in 2024, Trump's election, I told you this. This was the stop shaming me election. Just stop. I don't care anymore. Stop. You're seeing it everywhere in every example, sometimes good, sometimes bad. But they tried shaming Target. Target said, oh, you're going to shame me? No more shaming. I'm tired of being shamed for everything that I try to do to make things right. I'm always shamed. No more shaming. And boom, this is what hit him.
Wrong to raise it. In several cases, city agencies had actively partnered with developers to bring Target into specific neighborhoods as part of broader economic development initiatives.
Or you could not have any of these Empire State Development issues at all. Just have a better environment. And you know what they would do? They would come on their own. That's how it's worked for literally centuries. But we decided now we have to have economic development to bring them in and bring them, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Just let them come in. They'll go make money on their own. If it's underserved, they'll go serve. That's how it works in every other environment on the planet. Somehow in like Russia and China and Africa and Nigeria, somehow stores open up and service people without this. Somehow they do it. It's crazy how they do that. They do.
Residents were told the stores represented long-term investment and stable employment. When those same stores closed, citing the city's own cost structure as the reason.
The city's cost structure was why they closed.
The credibility of future development promises takes a hit, alongside the communities being left behind. Target's CEO responded directly.
Yes, he did.
The statement didn't minimize the closures or deflect with vague corporate language.
Nope.
Instead, it laid.
Homeboy said, you're going to shame me? I'm going to backhand you. And I'm not mad at him for it. I'm not mad. Stop the shaming horseshit. You're a government. You're an adult. Stop shaming. Fix the problem. Fix the problem.
Laid out the specific economic conditions that make operating in New York fundamentally different from anywhere else in the company's national footprint.
Anywhere else.
What was notable about the response was its precision.
Oh.
This wasn't a generalized complaint about doing business in a blue state.
He literally said, this is why New York sucks. And no one's going to say he's wrong. This, by the way, is one of the reasons people are teasing and saying how Kathy Hochul is now starting to change. This smack is one of, I showed you this because this smack is one of the reasons. This smack that she got from Target is one of the reasons why she's changed her tune. Because she always thought, I can just shame people. I can just do the thing. And Target said, no, those days are over, dummy. Those days are over. I'm telling you why you suck. And you have a choice. Accept that and fix it or just keep sucking. Up to you. And Kathy's like, damn, this sucking part's not working. My shaming isn't working anymore. The old games and stuff isn't working anymore. That Larry Sharpe guy was right the whole time. Oh, yeah, he was.
High-cost city. It was a cost-by-cost accounting of exactly where the math breaks down and why it breaks down in ways that don't self-correct over time. Labor costs came first.
Bingo.
New York's minimum wage is among the highest in the country.
Yep. But wait a minute. Didn't I always hear from the minimum wage people, you just have to raise minimum wage? That'll be great. And don't they always tell you, every person who loves raising the minimum wage always says the same thing. See, people always say, that if you raise minimum wage, that you'll lose jobs. But that never happens. And they cite some example that they cite. Well, here's Exhibit A. You make it too high, they pack up and leave. All those jobs lost.
And for a retailer employing thousands of hourly workers, that gap compounds quickly.
Yep.
A single store in New York carries a payroll burden that can exceed comparable locations in other states by millions of dollars annually. When you multiply that across dozens of locations, the math shifts dramatically.
Yes, indeed. Gracie, thank you for this. She says, Larry, you were talking about this with Empress Kathy, shaming and stupidity years ago. You said it first. I did. As soon as she came in, I said the same thing. She starts with the shaming. She plays the woman card. She does all this stuff all the time, constantly. And it used to work. So of course she would do it. If it works, why wouldn't you keep doing it? When she was telling conservatives to leave, it was working. Why wouldn't you stop? Remember, she doesn't care. It's working. I'll do it. And it was working. Not no more. Not no more. So RT Borg over on Rumble says, to be fair, Governor Hochul told everyone to get on the bus and go to Florida. So not just the city, all the state has the same problem. Yes, this is across New York State. That is correct. Yes, this is across the entire state. Yes, 100%. Accurate statement.
But the base wage is only part of the story.
Yes, it is.
Mandatory paid sick leave, predictive scheduling.
All of these things. First off, one part he didn't even bring up, which is payroll taxes. Payroll taxes for someone who makes like $17 an hour can easily be $13 an hour on top of that. So someone gets officially $17 an hour, but the company's paying $30. That's not uncommon. That's not uncommon. But he goes on. Mandatory paid sick leave. We got to get them to pay that. Great. Now they leave. Predictive scheduling. Here's how it works with predictive scheduling. And I'm not joking. This is a law. You can't change someone's schedule without giving them enough time, or they can sue and they used to pay them quadruple or whatever. I forgot what it is. Probably quadruple, whatever it is. Whatever they pay them. Yes, you have to. Yeah. So I can't go, hey, can you show up tomorrow at work? You didn't tell me 36 hours in advance. I'm a store with people who get sick. I can't do that. Show up or don't. No. Now they can sue. Stop. I'm out. You want to make it to where no business can survive. And this is Target. Imagine a small business. They're wrecked. A small business is wrecked with this. You have to have more benefits. Not just that. When it comes to New York State, you have to pay workers' comp, not just for someone who has an accident on the job, but off the job. Yes. I get on the job. That makes sense. I'm having you work. You're on my job. You make a mistake or whatever. Something happens. Got to pay. Understood. Makes total sense. Why do I have to pay because you decide to jump off a freaking roof on a weekend? I have to do that. That's how New York State works. Yes, that's how it works in New York State. And following all their dumb rules. That's the operations. There's so many rules you have to follow. You have to hire people to follow the rules. I'm not joking. Yes.
Requirements and competitive pressure in one of the country's tightest urban labor markets push the true cost of employment well above the posted minimum.
Yep.
Retailers in New York don't just pay more per hour. They operate under a more complex and more expensive set of employment obligations than nearly any other market.
As they try to protect the employer from an employee for everything, the employers get screwed. You may go, but Larry, we got to care about employees. No, what you have to do is make it to where the employees are valuable. Then by default, the companies will collapse. You'll go, companies will always crush you. No, that's not how that works ever. Look at the people who make tons of money. Those people get lots of money because they are valued. That's why that works. When the employee is not valued, they don't get paid much. They don't get respected, regardless of whatever law you create. How can you do that? By creating scarcity. How do you do that? By having far more jobs than there are employees. You become desperate for employees. Larry, that never happened. That literally happened during the COVID lockdowns. We watched it. It also happens when the government makes it false, meaning makes it happen artificially. When the government says, well, you have to have quotas. So you have to have X amount of people of color, X amount of women, Y amount of people who are LGBT, whatever. When you do that, the companies have to hire them. So they become more valuable. So they pay them most of them better. Companies don't hate employees. Companies don't care. They will treat them as nice as they need to or as crappy as they can. That's true. So make it to where the employees are valuable. Train them right with good schooling. Show them that they're good at stuff. Yes, and they'll do it on their own. That's how it works. That's literally how it works.
Market in the country. For a company running on margins that typically sit in the low single digits, this isn't a manageable variance. It's a structural disadvantage built into every hour of operation.
Yep. A structural disadvantage built into every hour of operation. Imagine if you just made it easier to open up businesses, easier to hire people, easier to get commerce done, just easier. You'd have more businesses coming to New York, more people hiring, and therefore labor becomes more valuable. And because labor becomes more valuable, well, then they'll treat their employees right, or they'll lose that important, valuable labor. But they're doing this with AI coming. AI is making labor already less valuable, and now New York says, we'll force them. We'll just force them to do it. We'll make laws. Good, they leave. The wealthy leave, the companies leave. I've been saying this for 8 years. Finally, someone's getting it.
Real estate followed. Commercial retail space in New York, even in outer boroughs and suburban corridors, costs far more per square foot than nearly any comparable market in the United States.
Because zoning.
Lease renewals have pushed costs higher.
Yep.
Some locations that made financial sense 5 years ago no longer clear basic profitability thresholds,
and most of that was because of
given
COVID
what
lockdowns.
landlords are now demanding. The timing of those renewals matters enormously.
Yep.
Many of Target's New York leases were signed during the expansion phase,
Bingo.
when the company was willing to absorb near-term losses in exchange for long-term market position.
Yep.
That calculus assumed foot traffic would grow, operational efficiencies would improve, and the cost environment would stabilize.
That makes sense, right? As you do more and more, that's what happened. That would make sense, just to assume. But something happened now.
In many locations, foot traffic didn't recover fully after the pandemic.
Bingo. The lockdowns wrecked us so bad, and I still have morons going, well, we had to. No, the lockdowns devastated New York City. We will never recover from the stupidity of the lockdowns, ever. And I don't even get a sorry out of people who did the lockdowns. No lockdowns ever. This is why I've said it before, and I'll say it again. When I'm governor, I will push a constitutional amendment to the New York State Constitution based off of the U.S. Constitution, meaning the First Amendment, that lockdowns are unconstitutional and you may never have a lockdown no matter what, period. That's how we do it. We end this stupidity. Our kids were wrecked. Our business were wrecked. Our families were wrecked. We've never recovered from it. And it's just more evidence of it. I said it back in 2020, and it's still true to this day. Michelle says, my husband owns a small shop in Oswego, and he's on the cusp of closing. When in 2021, he paid $100K in taxes and $30K in income taxes. But she wants to stomp on the rights of people trying to quit smoking. That's funny. Yes, that's what matters. It's funny. I like that. Yeah. That's good. The vaping, I get it. That makes sense. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's very good. So, all righty. Brian says, hello, Larry and Sharpies. Comment to please Mr. Al Gore Rhythm. True. Please do that. And click the button known as like, please, also while you're at it, and share it. It does matter.
Operational efficiencies hit their ceiling.
Yep.
And landlords, facing their own financial pressures, haven't offered the kind of renewal terms that would make staying viable. The result is a set of stores where the lease cost alone, independent of labor, theft, or tariff pressure.
Theft. Theft. Or tariffs. Tariffs are an issue. The funny thing is, tariffs are an issue. But if you listen to Kathy Hochul speak, tariffs are the only issue. Of all the things you heard here, tariffs is one bullet point in a list. I don't want to take it away. Tariffs do affect it. That's true. But Target was leaving before the tariffs came into play. So are tariffs a piece? Yes, they absolutely are a piece. True. But if you notice, it's what, 1 in 6? And they mentioned it halfway through the video, and Target was leaving before the tariffs hit. So let's be realistic on that one.
Makes profitability structurally out of reach.
So New York City rents and all these things make profitability structurally out of reach. That means New York City cannot support profitable businesses. This was such a smack in the face. And they're the ones who got the gifts. They got the goodies, right? They got the zoning goodies. They got the tax benefits, and they couldn't do it. And their Target, they could absorb tons of losses, and they couldn't do it. How's a small business going to do it? They can't.
The CEO addressed shrinkage directly.
Oh, there we go. For those who don't know what shrinkage is, shrinkage is theft. Now, the reason why I don't say theft is because shrinkage comes also from employees also, right? And what you'll always hear people tell you, people who say, theft isn't that bad. They lose more from their employees than they lose from that. Yeah, sometimes in offices, when they don't have direct customers coming in, of course you lose more to employees than customers. You're in an office building. Customers don't come in. But when it comes to retail shops, of course not. Shrinkage is always due to customer theft more than it is individual employee theft. It's not even close. That's a story they tell you.
Retail theft has reached levels that, in certain locations, have made consistent profitability impossible.
He said that because of shrinkage, it has made profitability impossible. This is such a smack to the face of New York. I feel bad because I'm a New Yorker, but I love this because I've been saying it for years. And finally, Target said, I'm not being nice. New York, you suck. You suck. Your environment it's impossible to be successful in this environment unless you scam or you're with the government or Kathy gives you a deal. You suck. I'm out. Love to hear that because finally, I'm going to give Kathy this. She's actually paying attention now. She's no choice. She's up against the wall. She's like, damn, I got to do something.
Without detailing specific incidents, the statement made clear that losses in select New York stores have exceeded what the company can absorb while keeping prices competitive.
Yep.
This is not a problem unique to Target.
True.
Major retailers across the country have flagged the same issue, but in dense urban markets with high foot traffic, the exposure is greater. What makes this cost particularly difficult to manage is that the responses to it are themselves expensive.
And that's the issue, the responses to it. All right, so you might say to yourself, wait a minute, what do you mean by responses. Aren't the cops going to do something? No, that's the problem. What's supposed to happen is you call your local police force or your mayor or your sheriff or whatever, your county sheriff, and say, hey, I'm having problems in my store with people stealing. And they go, great, we're a police department. And because we're a police department, we're going to come in and make things better. We're going to put an officer there, or we're going to arrest some people or do an investigation or whatever's appropriate in law enforcement. We'll go do that. Does that happen? No. What happens is, oh, that's a misdemeanor, so we can't afford to do it. Oh, we're just going to arrest and they're going to be let go because of bail reform laws that are terrible. So he's going to come out and do it all over again. So cops go, why bother? I can't do anything, so you're on your own. I'm not joking. That's why if you see what they're showing you there, the picture there, it is a picture of security, not cops. That's private security. So now the store, when I go into this neighborhood, that they told me that they would keep me safe, and that's why I have a police force, and that's why I have cops in courts, and although that's why I have that, of course I do, right? That's why I have it. But all of a sudden now, no, I can't do that. Why? Because the cops won't do anything. Why? Because they can't. Their hands are tied. They're giving up. I'm not mad at the cops for that, to be forward. It may sound like I'm attacking the cops, not doing stuff. I'm not. Why would they? If I was one, I wouldn't either. Why would you? You're going to arrest someone. You're going to put them in. And I've heard this more than once where a cop tells me, Larry, the person's out before I finish the paperwork for arresting them. So again, before the cop is done finishing the paperwork, the guy's back out on the street on a bicycle heading over there to go rob again. I'm not joking. Why would you? Why would you? And the judges don't care. And the DAs don't care. Well, you got to get your own personal security. Well, you got to pay for that. Well, if you're going to pay for that, when the cops are supposed to do that, they can't. So instead, you got to pay for it. Got to raise prices.
Additional security staffing, advanced surveillance systems, reorganized floor layouts, locked product displays.
The locked product displays makes people not go to stores anymore. I know they're in my neighborhood. I live in New York City. So when we go to these places and when we go there and it's all locked, I'm like, why am I here? I got to wait 10 minutes for someone to open up a thing for toothpaste or whatever the case may be. People are robbing? No. Be very clear about something. When I'm governor and you have a retail store, you may defend your property. Take that any way you want. You may defend your property. And if some DA decides they will charge you for defending your property, I will scold that DA and pardon you. I will publicly shame that DA and pardon you if you defend your property. Take that any way you like. When I am governor, you may defend your property. You may go, Larry, but we can always defend our property. In New York, you may not. No, that's not true. In theory, you can. According to our Constitution, you can, but New York doesn't care about the Constitution. The Bill of Rights in New York State is the Bill of Suggestions. It's not the Bill of Rights. You might think it is. You're wrong. It is the Bill of Suggestions in New York State. So you might think you have a right to defend yourself. You don't. That will change when I'm governor. Just so we're clear, this will not be a problem when I'm a governor. It will not be a problem.
Each intervention reduces exposure while adding operational cost. And none of them eliminate the problem.
They don't have the problem. They don't.
They manage it to varying degrees.
Bingo.
In stores where...
Now, if you were to defend your property, that would kind of solve the problem over a couple of defenses. I'll just say defenses. It would solve the problem.
Where shrinkage has exceeded a certain threshold, the combined cost of the losses and the mitigation measures pushes the location into territory where no realistic level of sales improvement closes the gap.
So no matter how much they sell, they can't be profitable. And all you will find people on the left yells go, greedy corporations, they're making profit. Not in this store. And it's not their fault. You act as if, you hear this, they act as if the company doesn't want to make profit. Of course companies will make profit. Of course he does. The company wants to make profit. Of course it does. So if it could make profit, it would. It physically can't, so it leaves.
Supply chain costs and tariff pressures added more weight.
Yep. That is
Imported
true.
goods now cost more at the source. Passing those costs to consumers in a market already stretched thin.
And that's the key. And that's the key part. The tariffs were terrible because the system was already stretched. Could they have absorbed the tariffs? Probably, depending upon where you're going, what you're doing, if the system didn't already suck. The system is already stretched. Tariffs went over the top.
Creates a different kind of problem.
And this is what Kathy Hochul was saying. So in theory, depends how you look at it, Kathy Hochul's correct, kinda-ish, but she's kind of correct in that, yes, tariffs had affected and they were the last piece, but with a decent system, it wouldn't have been so bad.
Target's customer base in New York, like elsewhere, is highly price sensitive.
Absolutely.
Raising prices risks driving shoppers to competitors or online alternatives.
Online alternatives. That was the massive grift we gave to Jeff Bezos and Amazon. We all did that. Absolutely.
Absorbing costs, risks, pushing stores further into the red.
Yep.
This pressure arrives on top of everything else. It does not replace the labor problem or the real estate problem.
Thank you.
It stacks on them. A store that was already operating at marginal profitability before tariff increases has no buffer to absorb the additional merchandise cost.
Correct.
The arithmetic does not allow for it. The CEO was direct about what this means going forward. Closing underperforming stores isn't a retreat. It's a reallocation.
Yep.
Capital that was subsidizing money-losing locations gets redirected towards stores where the economics work.
What does that mean? That means if you have a better environment for business, they will put more money into it. I know, mind blown. If you're friendly towards landlords, you will have more rentals. If you're friendly towards homeowners, you'll have more homeowners. If you're friendly towards businesses, you'll have more businesses. Yeah, I know, nuts, crazy.
Toward digital fulfillment infrastructure and toward same-day delivery expansion that can serve.
So here's the thing. You'll get same-day delivery. That's not bad. You'll get all different types of things that you can get, right? In the right areas. Wouldn't it be nice for local people to get that? Not in New York, you won't.
New York customers without the overhead of maintaining physical locations in the most expensive zip codes in the country. From a purely financial perspective, the logic holds. A dollar spent subsidizing a store that cannot reach profitability is a dollar not invested in infrastructure that could.
Yes. See, this is what we're not getting. We're like, well, they're just going to put more money into their stores. Yes, which means the local people get better stores. The local people get more access to more goods and cheaper pricing. Yes.
Serve customers more efficiently. The problem is that financial logic and community need don't always point in the same direction.
I disagree completely. They actually do. He's wrong. They do. What happens is we're just seeing right now. Government gets in between and screws it all up. But they actually do. They make completely correct. How do I know? Because if you look at industries that don't have a lot of government interference, they tend to service their people relatively well, right? And I'll give you crazy ideas. This is going to sound nuts, but I'm going to give it to you. The black market. If you want something on the black market, you get it. The black market will provide it. It's how it works. Why? No government involved. You'll get it. You'll get what you want. You might pay a high price for it. You might get shot, but you're going to get it. And that's my point, right? Now, we don't have to go that far, obviously, but I'll give you another good example. Look at healthcare. Look at what's important healthcare, what's vital, and then what's optional. Vital healthcare, required healthcare is expensive, hard to get, takes time, service is garbage, unless you're wealthy, right? Garbage. But then look at the other types, right? The non-essential, LASIK eye surgery, cosmetic dentistry, all over the place. If you want to get a body enhancement, I'll say that, you get it. And a good price, lots of accessibility and lower price. Yes, the less the government's involved, the more it works. What he just said now is incorrect.
Officials pushed back on that framing. The argument that delivery can substitute for a physical store ignores the reality of who
Yes.
relies on those stores most.
Thank you.
Delivery requires a smartphone, a
Yep.
debit or credit
Yep.
card,
Yep.
reliable internet access,
Yep.
and the ability to plan purchases in advance.
Correct.
For lower-income households, precisely the communities Target's urban stores were meant to serve, those requirements create real barriers.
So in an attempt to do the right thing, they just punished the people, the stores that were in the communities that needed it most. Every single time that's true. Every time. The wealthy either get the stores they want or they just move. But what happens when you can't afford to move? You're screwed.
The closure of a physical store isn't offset by an app. Digital retail works well for customers who are already financially stable and
Correct.
digitally connected.
Yes.
For households that shop in store because they need to see what they're buying,
Yep.
pay with cash, or
Yes.
make purchasing decisions based on what's physically available that day.
They can't. They're stuck in bodegas. I'm not joking. They're stuck shopping in a bodega. Now you might go, shopping in a bodega? Yes. There are lots of New Yorkers who shop in a bodega. I'm not against my bodegas, but that, to be very forward, I'm not trying to be mean, I'm being forward. You should not be shopping in a bodega. You should be grabbing items you forgot or on the way home. That's what you should be grabbing in a bodega. You should not be shopping for your daily food in a bodega, and there's a lot of people who do. You should be going to an actual grocery store. We can get actually fresh vegetables and good food and good meats and all that stuff. So you should be shopping. You find people aren't.
The shift to delivery isn't a lateral move. It's a reduction in access wearing the costume of a technological upgrade.
Yes, it is. It's reduction in access forced by government.
The broader retail picture in New York tells the same story across multiple chains.
It is not just Target.
Drugstore
Thank you.
closures have eliminated dozens of locations citywide.
CVS.
Discount chains have pulled back.
Starbucks.
Grocery
going too.
stores have shuttered in neighborhoods that were
Yep,
already
absolutely.
considered food insecure.
Yep.
The pattern
And we don't learn. And we learn nothing. Government in New York keeps destroying all the little communities, and we never learn.
is consistent. High costs, high
Yep.
crime losses,
Yes.
and thin margins
Yes.
are pushing chains toward a selective retreat
It's almost like the government doesn't do anything to make things better, but just complains. Huh?
from the markets that arguably need affordable retail options most. What makes this wave of closures particularly damaging is its cumulative effect.
Yes.
Each individual closure is reported as an isolated business decision.
But they all step on top of each other because as it begins to collapse, everything collapses. Everything collapses. Yes.
But block by block, the retail infrastructure of certain neighborhoods has been quietly hollowed out over the past several years.
It's not just New York City. This is heavily upstate too, but it's just so obvious here. Yes.
Target's situation is drawing attention because of how publicly the CEO engaged with
Bingo.
officials.
And that was important. Sonia, how are you, my dear? So glad you're watching tonight. Yes, little old Western New York, Portville, lost its only grocery store. Oleana is following suit, and most people are getting the vegetables from Dollar Generals. Thank you. The equivalent of a Dollar General here in New York City is a bodega. Yes. Look, I'm not against Dollar General. You can pick up things as you want, but you shouldn't be getting your food and your normal groceries from Dollar General. You shouldn't. I get if you do, you don't have a choice. I'm not mad at you for doing it, but we should have a world to where you can go to a grocery store and then do your Dollar General store stuff at Dollar General. Nothing wrong with that, but I see it. You are correct. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
The underlying pattern has been building across the entire sector with far less scrutiny. What makes Target's situation notable is the scale of the public response it triggered.
Yes.
This isn't a small regional chain quietly closing.
This is why I brought this up. This was a very special piece. This idea and what happened here, he came up and said, stop shaming you. Stop shaming me.
This is one of the country's largest retailers openly explaining, in specific terms, why New York has become financially untenable for a significant portion of its footprint.
Yep.
That explanation is now part of a public record
See,
that
drugstores, grocery stores,
other retailers, investors, and city planners will reference. Every chain evaluating its New York footprint over the next few years will read what Target's CEO put on the record
and they won't come in.
Factor it into their own calculus. The question New York now faces isn't just about Target. It's about whether the city's cost structure, wages, real estate, regulatory compliance, theft exposure has reached a point where mass market retail on thin margins simply cannot function.
There's no question. That's true. Which is why you keep hearing me talking about ending zoning. Just get rid of that garbage, right? End it. Not just that, change our insurance policies. Our insurance laws in New York State are an embarrassment, make everything worse. And hiring felons ends your payroll tax, which almost doubles the amount of money you're paying people. You can give people more raises. Yes, ending this idea of the idea that we have to force every single employee to be like they're the greatest thing in the world. They're just an employee. I'm not saying it's bad, but you're not a god. You're a person who's doing something. That's fine. Doesn't mean you deserve everything. You must accommodate me. No, I don't. You have to do your job.
And if that's true, who fills the gap? Who serves the neighborhoods where a Target or a Walmart was the most affordable option within walking distance?
Yep.
No clear answer has emerged. Target says it remains committed to New York through digital channels and select physical locations where performance justifies the investment.
What that means is the right neighborhoods and online. The right neighborhoods and online.
Officials say the company has obligations that go beyond quarterly earnings.
You're obligated, Target. You're just what Kathy Hochul said about the people who want to move to Florida. You're obligated. Come back and pay me. Come back and pay me is what she said. And now here, you're obligated. No, you're not. No, you're not obligated. That's a bunch of horse shit. Stop. No one owes you anything, Kathy. No one. I know you are queen, and I know you deem the world to be yours, and I know you use the royal we. I know you believe that, but it's not true. It's a fantasy. It's not real. They owe you nothing. You owe New Yorkers an environment to where we can build businesses, build families, and build futures. You owe us that. Why? Because we voted for you. Well, I didn't, but as a state, we did. We voted for you. You owe us that. We pay your salary. You're being paid to run for governor. I'm not. I'm getting my ass kicked. But you're being paid to run for governor. I'm not. You owe us that environment. So stop blaming Target and look in the mirror.
Workers caught in the middle are left with timelines, severance questions, and the task of finding comparable employment in a market where retail jobs are disappearing faster than they're being created.
Yes, and no one asked that question.
The CEO's response changed the terms of the conversation.
It did, and that's why I loved it.
It shifted the debate from why is Target leaving to what exactly is wrong with New York's retail economics.
Yes, and that's the entire point of this. Why did I bring this up? Why did I go through this? Because this is critical. This was not being done before. In the past, that was not being done. In the past, the shaming would work, or the companies would say things like, well, maybe, I don't know, could be, all that stuff. No. Now we said, no, New York, you suck. That's it. That's how it works. So yes, let me grab a couple comments if I could. There's so many of them if I can. Let's see here. It's Mingia, I think it's called that. What is your view on union? I'm a Teamster UPS. Now I see our union president making good with the GOP. Yeah, unions are bouncing all over the place, right? As a general rule, unions used to be, back in the day, heavily Democratic. Now it's not that case. Generally speaking, the more educated your union is, like teachers, educated, tends to be more Democratic. Excuse me. And the more blue collar, they tend to be a Republican. So yeah, they tend to be Republican. I don't have a problem with unions at all. Unions are the First Amendment. They're your ability to associate and speak, and you should be able to collectively bargain if you want to, up to you. My problem with unions is the way we deal with them. 2 points. One, government should not be involved. Let unions and labor do as they see fit and strike if they want to strike or whatever they want to do. They should be able to do as they see fit. And in the market, labor is part of the market. You can get together and do as you see fit. I don't have a problem with that at all. When it comes to public sector unions, here's the difference. Public sector unions The problem is they negotiate with the wrong people. They negotiate with the governor. It's not the governor's money. They should negotiate with the people. All public sector unions, all their contracts should be done via ballot initiative, and the people should vote on it. And then you're talking to the actual people there. People would actually have some control, which is better. Then you're talking with the people who are actually giving you the money. I don't have any problem at all with them. That would be the answer for that. So yeah, let me grab a couple more comments if I could. I think that was good. That was over on Instagram. On Rumble, RT Borg says, but Larry, I was taught in grad school to be a teacher that math is racist. I've heard that. It's not, but I have heard that. It's not. But yes, that's not the first time I've heard that before. Thank you for doing that. Joel says, time to print more money. True. That will solve all the problems. You're right. You are right. All right. Let me now grab, if I could. This is a piece from, this is the response. There's a response. Mamdani is on the case. He is. He's on the case. Mamdani is like, okay, these people are leaving. So New York City small businesses are going to step up. That's what's going to, Mamdani got the plan. That's going to happen. And he's got a plan to make this work. And I'm going to show you his plan. He's got it. He made a cool commercial to explain how he's going to fix everything. I feel safer already. Mamdani is on the job. Okay, here we go.
Small businesses are the staples of our communities.
See that?
Together, they keep our city running. And without
he clicked the staple. Did you get that? He did the thing.
without them, our city wouldn't survive.
And for a small business, keeping the lights on can be a challenge.
True.
Especially as revenues change throughout the year for seasonal shops.
So he's just said it. Revenue can be a challenge, keeping the power on, everything. So obviously what he's going to do is he's going to make it to where there's cheaper energy or easier to do business, right? Because he just said that. They're so important. He's going to give them some kind of, okay, great. Give me your plan, how you're going to help business grow.
So New York City needs to do everything in its power to make sure that small businesses succeed.
True. Okay. We got the plan. Mamdani, you got this, man. Okay. Got it. You've accepted it. You got your guy next to you who's smiling. All right. We are good. Here we go.
That's why we're excited to announce that applications are once again open for the NYC Future Fund.
What? We're going to apply for stuff? We made more bureaucracy? Whoa. No, bureaucracy is the problem in the first place. So you said, there's too much bureaucracy. What should we do? Got it. How about more bureaucracy? What could go wrong?
The NYC Future Fund ensures small business owners have a loan program catered to their individual needs.
Oh, okay. So to be clear, here's his answer. I wish I was joking with this. You just heard it. His answer is, okay, all the big business is leaving because we suck. So we'll have small business pick up the slack. And they're in trouble too. They're dying. So what we're going to do is more government-backed loans to put them more in debt. But the government is owed the money, so they can't just go bankrupt. The government will then seize their assets. What could go wrong?
Such as
Reduce minimum revenue requirements, lower minimum loan size.
So even smaller businesses can be seized by the government. I thought if you're a socialist in New York that you were all about workers owning the means of production. What I'm seeing here is government taking over more businesses. What could go wrong?
Affordable interest rates.
See?
and flexible monthly repayment terms.
Flexible repayment terms. So here's your answer. Okay, New York City is so horrible to do business in, you're going to struggle. So instead of us making a better business environment, not doing that. Instead, we'll let you go further into debt. I mean, you're already into debt. We'll just give you a way to get in more debt. So you're in credit card debt. We'll give you another credit card. But this credit card is a government credit card. Therefore, it's better. Why is it better? Because when you don't pay us, we'll seize your property. See? You were wondering. Some of you are wondering. You say, wait a minute, Larry, how is he going to make these government-run stores? Because he cares.
Just with seasonal revenues. Because a tough winter shouldn't put your ice cream shop under.
We're building a fairer economy for the...
It's a fairer economy, guys. Why are you so mad? Why are you mad? It's a fairer economy. I don't know why you guys hate fairness. Why are you so... Lunatic's so mad. He's like, I don't like fairness. It's fair, lunatic. Andrea, it's fair. What's wrong with you people?
Entrepreneurs who support our neighborhoods. So the local businesses that make our city great stay open year-round.
They stay open because they just go into serious debt that will seize their stuff. That's all.
Whether you're serving up the finest homemade sancocho in the 5 boroughs,
or you're the bike shop that's always there for the neighborhood.
Small businesses are the beating heart of our city's culture.
So apply for the NYC Future Fund.
So apply to get another credit card. I'm not joking. You can see it. I'm not making this up. So Kathy Hochul understands it's all collapsing. Target's leaving. Everything sucks. Mamdani's like, I got this. I got this. Everybody's like, okay, Mayor, what do you got? Got it right now. All right. Another credit card. What? Yeah. Another credit card. Yeah, but they're already broke. Right. So they can't pay the other credit cards. Correct. So why we give them another credit card? Well, then they'll go more into debt. Well, right. We don't want that, did we? Oh, no, we want that. Why? Then we'll seize the business. Duh. That's the actual plan. The plan's not for them to survive. What's wrong with you? The plan is for us to take all the businesses. That's the entire plan we had in the past, to take all the rental apartments. We're going to take all the rental apartments, and then we'll take all the businesses, and then the government will own everything. See? What's wrong with you? I'm not making this up. I'm sure. Every time I say these things, I show you receipts. You will hear me all the time say, their words, not mine. I show you their words. I show you what they're saying. I'm not making this up. I'm showing it to you. Yes. Here we go. So you're in trouble. Your business is collapsing. What do you need? Another credit card. I got you. Saving the world. I feel better already. All right, let me grab some of this if I can. All right, Adirondack, thank you for becoming a member, my friend. I appreciate it. And gifting 5 memberships, brother. Thank you so much. I could use every little bit. I appreciate it. Gifting is amazing. I appreciate that tremendously. D says, watch an LS clip about liar Sheriff Todd Hood claiming your open borders. Can you explain your immigration stance? I get that this is National versus New York. Well, no, look, I did before on, I forgot where I did. I did another show. There is a clip. If you guys want to go on my Larry Sharpe media, you will see that I did have an explanation for it. There are libertarians who are open borders. They exist and you'll find them. I am not one of those, never have been. You can check that clip out to give you what I'm talking about. We have a huge problem with migrants that we've got to solve in some way, shape, or form. I give them many ways of fixing it, guys. We can fix it. It can be done. It's just not, it's not open borders. That's the wrong answer. I do want vibrant immigration. I do. I just want vibrant, vetted immigration is what I want. I want vibrant, vetted immigration. And we can do that with a very simple Ellis Island program to ensure that only the right people are coming aboard. And I don't mean that by race or gender. I mean it by the right people who want to come work. I'm okay with that. Vibrant, vetted immigration. We can do so. So thank you for that. Yeah, I appreciate it. All right. I have a bunch of that I want to go through. By the way, guys, as always, please click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. Please do so. It really does matter. I know I bugged you, but it does. This is also, of course, always a fundraiser. So if you can raise, throw some cash in, it does matter. I am really trying hard to make this work. It is challenging, very hard to make this work. People are trying their best to make sure I'm not on the ballot. They don't. Here is the reality. And if you're a Republican in this state, you should know this. Here's what you should know. The Republican Party in this state does not want to win. I'm not joking. I'm not making it up. I'm not angry. It's just true. If they win, they're responsible for the state. They don't want to be responsible for the state. It's dying. It's collapsing. Kathy Hochul is trying to fix it. Well, sorry. She's trying to react, not fix it. She's trying to react. She's trying to react to it. Republicans don't want that. I do. I am happy to take this broken state and fix it. For those you don't know, my day job, literally, I was and I still to this day sometimes am a corporate trainer. I've been a public officer. I've been an officer in a couple of public companies in the past. I come in and fix things. What I do, I'm a fixer. I can fix this. I'm happy to fix this. Republicans don't want to. They don't want me to become in charge. Because if I come in charge, then I'll have to fix this. And they don't think I can. They're wrong. I can. I know I can. But something else. They have a grifting system right now that works. The Republican Party leadership in this state right now has a patronage system that keeps people having jobs with their friends and family, all getting jobs, and everybody's happy. They get their little crumbs from Kathy Hochul, and they're good. all the deals are being made and Kathy Hochul's going to win, and that's going to happen. I'm going to predict it right now. If I am not the Republican nominee, Kathy Hochul will win by about 15 points. I've just said it. That's going to happen. I've already said it. I've announced it already. I've announced it way ahead. If I am not the Republican nominee, Kathy Hochul will win by about 15 points. That's going to happen right now. It's going to happen. Well, Larry, you have to become the Republican nominee. Then we have to get money and signatures, or that's not going to happen. I go, Larry, why won't it happen? Literally, I'm not figuratively, literally, the Republican establishment in this state is scaring people out of helping me. They literally get a call. This is not figuratively. They call people and say, don't talk to Larry Sharpe. They say that. Oh, you've got a business and you care about Larry Sharpe? That might be a bad idea for your business. They actually say that. They say, oh, you want to say that? That's dangerous for you. They say that. I'm not joking. I have people come to me and go, Larry, I can't talk to you. I can't talk to you. Happens all the time. They literally don't want to talk to me. They will not talk to me. They won't. They scare people out of making moves with me. This is the Republicans. The Democrats don't care. They're going to win. As long as Kathy Hochul doesn't like, I don't know, shoot somebody or something, she's going to win. She's already said she's going to be here till 2038. What kind of hubris is that? She knows she's right. She's not wrong. I wish she was wrong. If I'm not the Republican nominee, she will win. That's how that works. There's no one else who can do it. No one else is running. So if you're happy with Kathy Hochul, good. I don't know why you're watching my show, but good for you. Don't vote for me. Don't support me, and you'll get it. I can't find people. I can't find petitioners. I'm not joking. Because the Republican establishment says, if you petition for Larry Sharpe, we'll never hire you again. I'm not joking. That's I can say it publicly. If I'm lying, they can sue me, right? Can't they sue me if I'm lying? They literally tell I can't get consultants to assist me. Why? They say, if you assist Larry Sharpe, we'll never hire you again. Yes, that's literally being said by leaders in the Republican Party right now. That happens every single week. I struggle to get petitioners because they're afraid. I struggle to get consultants. But here's the worst part. If you ask a consultant right now, if you ask a Republican, if you know any, please literally call them up and ask them. Say, hey, if Larry Sharpe gets in the primary, will he win the primary? Oh, yeah, he will. If he wins the primary, will he be the governor? Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They'll tell you that. Why? Great. Why aren't you helping him? Oh, because I'll never have a job again in New York State. I can't do that. Republicans never hire me again. Literally. So they literally berate people into not helping me. That's a true thing. Now, I'm still doing this because obviously I'm insane. But fine, I'm insane. I accept. I'm still doing it. I'm fighting through anyway. If you're someone who says, Larry, I would, but, there's no but. Help now, or there's nothing left. I'm not joking. Help now, nothing left. And here's the worst part. There are people right now who could write a check to a PAC to assist me for $1 million. Right now, could write a check for $1 million if they want to. Could do it. If they were to do that, I'm the next governor of New York. Done. I'm not making that up. I will bet you $1 million that's true. Guaranteed. If a PAC was behind me with $1 million, I would have polling, I would have ballot access, and that's all. I just need polling and ballot access. All I need. Those two things, because that's when the press comes in. When the press comes in, I rock and roll. You guys watch these shows? My total viewership, and this goes live on about 8 different channels and stays active about 3 days or so before people do it, is only several thousand people. That's it. And only about half are in New York. That's all I'm getting. Could you imagine if I was getting tens of thousands in New York? I'd be governor of New York. Yes. It is doable. They won't do it. They won't do it. The cowardice, the short-sightedness, and what guarantee is going to happen, because it happened in 2022. After it's over, damn, Larry, you could have won this. Yeah, no shit, asshole. Write a check. No shit. I got to leave my company. You didn't have to. You wrote a check. You could run me a check for $1 million to a PAC, and you could have supported me. You could have got me what I needed. We wouldn't have to worry about it, would you? We could have got ballot access. These are New Yorkers. People who live in New York who are like, I'm not doing it. You live in New York. Look, you live in Florida. You live in Texas. You live in California. I get it. It's not your state, man. You got stuff to do. I'm not, look, I wish you would, but I'm not mad at you. It's not your state. I get it. You live in New York State and you don't do this? What are you doing? What are you doing? And you're going to complain like there's no tomorrow next year. Going to complain all day long. Kathy Hochul was terrible. You got your shot right now, dude. You got your shot now. You live in New York. You got a business. Why don't you write me a check? Can you find a better investment? The answer is no, unless you're leaving. Now, if you're leaving, I get it. You're leaving, then you don't care. Okay. Assuming you're not leaving, what's a better investment? There isn't one. Now, you might go, Larry, but what if you don't win? In case you guys haven't noticed it, what's Kathy Hochul doing now? Oh, some of you have noticed it. Yes, you have. As she begins to flounder and fail, her people are watching my stuff, and she's picking up my ideas. Oh, yeah, she is, because she's trying to fix things. And she will. She'll fix just enough. Of course she will. Of course she will. She just wants to win. This is win-win, guys. This is win-win. All right, I've yapped away. Guys, help out if you can. I need to move this thing forward. Let's make this happen. All right, let's grab a couple comments. I have so many comments. I want to try to grab some of these before we wrap this up. You guys are going back and forth a lot, which I love. Let me keep going. Adam says, Larry works harder than Trump, so it's understandable. The man never sleeps. Sadly, that is true. For those of you who watched, yeah. For those of you who have been watching it, yeah, absolutely, yes. So, Typical says, funny what's on this, Larry. I just learned about bills trying to force background checks on 3D print. Yes, that is correct. They're basically trying to ban 3D printing. So instead of saying, hey, wait a minute, 3D printing might be a good business, let's ban 3D printing. That's way better. Absolutely. Ryan became a member. Thank you, my friend. And gifted a membership. Thank you. Garrett, gifting memberships. Thank you, brother. It's been a while. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for showing up, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes. So, all righty. Matthew says, already sound, already short. I'm short by a lot. Thousands. I need more. I need tons more. Tons more. Anyone else you know, let's make it happen. Sign and get them in. Please do that. It does matter. Mike says, Hochul was high and mighty gloating in 2022 as she demanded all who disagreed to leave. Now, desperate for money to keep spending, she wants everyone back. Who would be so crazy to come back and be taxed? What she'll try to do, Mike, what she'll attempt to do is she'll attempt to bribe. Will it work? I don't know, but that's what she'll do. She'll go, come on, Mike, come on back. You know, we'll give you this break, tax break, this thing, that thing. She will try to bribe if she can. So, yeah. All righty. Let's see here if I can. Grab some more of these. Matthew also goes on to say, I saw an article that Pfizer was leaving New York in 2027. Yes, they're also turning down. It's also true. Yes. Sonia says, Kathy should hire those workers to make her 8 million posts a day about how much she suddenly cares about New York. That's a good idea. She's got $20 million in her account. She can afford it. See that, Sonia? You're thinking she should have hired you. See, as her marketing guru, you could have hired them. I'll put in a word, Sonia. I'll put a word in for you. Yes, I will put a word in. So, Typical goes on to say, the lawmakers are so stupid, you guys, we have to start messaging our lawmakers directly. Yes. They're not making or enforcing laws to help us. Yes. Look, you bring up a very important point here. Guys, I keep saying this, but it matters tremendously. It's important. If you are a Republican in New York State, it is critical. If you've done it before, do it again. Call or email or text, whatever is the appropriate way, to contact all of your local leaders, whether that's the county legislator, whether that's your mayor, whether that's your Republican Party chair, whatever it is. If they're Republican, reach out to them and say, hey, I want Larry Sharpe in the primary. That's it. You don't have to have a conversation unless you want to, but just let them know that. If you've done it, do it again. Every time you do it, it matters. Please do that. Yes. Mike here also goes on to say, Seattle Mayor Dem has a new twist on this. Made it illegal to close a store. I can see Hochul and Dems doing that in New York. The only way to keep the biz here, they think. Yes, you make it illegal to move. Yes, you can't. Yes, you do that. So again, they don't know anything else, Mike. Something's bad, pass a law against it. That's all. Pass a law against it. Done and done. Yes. So, all righty. Shelly says, talking to D, Sheriff Todd apparently couldn't do an internet search. Oscar showed up in one of Larry's posts saying that we're all liberals and leftists. Maybe, yeah, there's trolls out there too. 100%. Yep. So Adam, okay. Bronna says that's nuts, but predictable. Instead of examining the problem, punish the victims. Yes, punish is the only answer they have. So they do it. So that's all they have, of course. George says, Larry, will you make a stop in Cobleskill? Been there more than once, brother. You have dropped the ball on that one. I love you, George. You dropped the ball on that one. I've been to Cobleskill twice in the last year. You just missed it. You need to spend more time on my social media. Every time I go, I've been there many times. Yeah, I'll go again, of course, but I'm probably not going for months. I'm probably not going to be in Cobleskill till maybe the summer or even maybe the fall. Just being very forward. Yeah. Unless you hold on. Let me change that. George, you happen to know a place where that might want to host a fundraiser? Reach out to the campaign, and I'll find a way to make it happen. Yes, reach out and make a fundraiser. We could use fundraising. So yes, please do that. 100%. So Bronna says the minimum wage is and has always been $0. True. And they don't understand that. They act like, well, no, they have to pay. No, they can just go away. Going out of business is always the way you can do it. So yes. All right. Adam says, excluding costs, what's stopping you from buying a Republican mailing list and sending out? Why the fuck would you exclude costs? I'm sitting here saying LarrySharpe.com/donate, and you say excluding costs? I'm telling you, I got rich people who won't write me a check because they have given up or don't believe or don't care. And you're saying excluding costs? That's literally the problem. Literally the problem. You can't say excluding costs. That's the problem. What I get from people all the time, constantly is, Larry, you got to do this. You got to do that. I get it all the time. Yes. Well, then write me a big check. Someone. That's all I'm saying. You're not wrong, Adam. You're right. But when look, I knew what I was getting myself into. So don't feel sorry for me. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm trying to get some understanding from you guys. Literally, the powers that be here in New York State tell business owners, don't support Larry Sharpe or we will punish you. Literally, they say that. It's not good for you. They use mafioso words. Not good for you. It's dangerous. Not a good idea. So if your name pops up on my list that you gave to me, they're going to punish you. Foolish me, I thought, well, if I run Republican, more people will support me. That wasn't true. The same people are supporting me. The people who will fight the establishment are the ones who will support me. The people who are part of the establishment who said, well, I would if you were part of the establishment, still don't support me. Because whether I run Republican or Libertarian, I'm not establishment. That's crystal clear. I'm not establishment. So establishment people are never going to support me. I thought more of them would. Holy shit, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. Establishment is going to establish. That's it. So yes, I'm not going to finish your point, Adam. I'm sure you're right, but that's the most important piece. So yes. All right. Let's see here. I got to grab down these roads if I can. Edarang says compliance is one of the biggest departments in electricity generation transmission industry. Yes. Thank you. Having to follow it is the critical piece. Having to follow all the rules is so expensive. Adam says, press that like button. Yes, he is correct. Yes, absolutely. It's important to do. So, all righty. Gracie goes on to say, and Target's known as a liberal company. It is. Mike says 6 billionaires just left California due to taxes. They took $27 billion in tax revenue with them. Meanwhile, New York plans to increase taxes, causing the rich in New York to want to pay more tax. Yeah. The worst part is not only that, but they're now also this. Some of you may think that the estate tax or the death tax or the inheritance tax, whatever you call it, is not a big deal. Oh, it's only over X, Y, and Z. 50%. If you're a billionaire and you want to leave your kids $1 billion and half of that goes to New York State, you're not staying here. Why would you? You're not staying here. You're going to watch them just leave. So yes. Alexandra, how are you? Oil shortage lockdowns coming next. I hope you're wrong. Please don't say that. Andrea and Alexandra, be wrong. Please be wrong. Oh my God. Please be wrong. Ugh, God. Andrea says no lockdowns ever again. I'm with you. Yes, I'm with you. Yes. Rona says everyone seems to constantly talk about the poor and wealthy leaving a state. But I always feel horrible for the people left behind with no alternative. Yes. Well, there's a thing in New York, and I talked about this years ago. I said, you're going to find a time when people just pack up and leave. They're not going to care about their house. They're just going to leave. They're not going to care if they have a lease. They're not going to care if they have a mortgage. They're just going to go because they just can't survive anymore. They're just going to leave. That's happening already. It's actually on the government website, New York State government website. They're called zombie houses. That's their term, not mine. Their term is zombie houses, where people just walk by and see no one's mowed the lawn for 6 weeks, whatever, and go, someone lived there. And they walk up and go, oh my God, they left. They just left. They got a mortgage. They got a lease. They don't care. Sue me. I'll see you in court. I'm moving to Florida. Good luck. Find me. They don't care. They can't survive, Brona. You just can't. So they just walk up and they leave. You are correct. That's already happening. So, yeah. All righty. Gracie goes on to say, theft has been killing retail for decades now. Most people don't realize how bad it is. It's forced stores to keep basics off the shelves. Yes. Everywhere I see that. Every single place I see that. Yes. All righty. Brona says, people also seem to forget when a corporation leaves the state, they don't take their employees. They hire locals from a new locale. Yes. The previous employees are very often screwed. Yes. Exactly right. So now everyone just pays. So yes. Missy says, please help petitioning. Check out the info on the website, LarrySharpe.com. Yes, guys, I know I keep bugging you, but we're in a tough spot. If you haven't already signed, go sign. Make sure another Republican witnesses. If you haven't gone out and gotten it, get some. I've been out there. You have seen me. I have video evidence of me doing it. I have picture evidence of me doing it. I am out getting signatures. I'm doing it again coming up here. I'm not stopping. We have to keep doing it we have to keep going until April 2nd. We have to stop on April 2nd. Prior to that, we keep going. And again, I'll be out here. You will see me again out here, of course, in New York. Tomorrow, I'll be at Orange Strong, New York, at the Rustic Wheelhouse in Chester, New York at 7 p.m. tomorrow. That's Wednesday. Thursday, March 26th, I'll be at the Donald J. Trump Kings County Republican Club in Brooklyn, New York at 6:30. Please come see me there. Saturday, I'll be at the St. Patrick's Day Parade. We're starting meeting up at noon at PS 41 in Bayside, New York. Petitioning. It does matter. We have to do so. This is our last weekend, guys. It's our last weekend. We need thousands. This is our last weekend. So if you can help, now is the time. Yes. Andrea says, I would call the police and they would come and get mad that we called them when people stole. Yes, of course. Mike says, Hochul's making new, slightly different promises and a lot of the old standard ones because she is desperate. True. It's an election year. She needs to hide the depth of problem until after November election. Yes. And this is the issue. For those who don't get this, right? New York State is two cycles away from no longer being able to run statewide candidates. I'm not joking. They will not be able to run, Republican Party will not be able to run statewide candidates. There'll be none. So Kathy Hochul only has to survive this next one to this one, because here's how it works. In 2026, if I'm not the nominee, she wins. Once she wins, Republicans will be completely broken. Republicans in this state are already broken. The average Republican is just giving up. Like, why bother, Larry? We can't win. And they've been telling us forever. Blah, blah, blah. I get it. I hate it, but I understand it. They have surrendered in many ways, shape, or form. They don't vote. They don't care. They're like, we're just going to move. They're ready to just pack up and leave. Okay, got it. With that in mind, now 2028 comes. There'll be a Republican nominee for president. That'll be on the ballot. Then 2032 comes. And whoever the Democrat is in 2028 will win the state. But the presidential candidate, whether they win the election or not, who knows, they're going to win New York. Anyone who tells you that a Republican is going to win New York State in a statewide election in a presidential nomination is just lying to you. You've got to be a coalition candidate. And right now, the Republican Party and GOP in New York State is just like, we're going to stay with the establishment people. They're never going to win. So now 2032 is going to come around. And Kathy Hochul is going to run again. Of course, she runs again. Who's going to run against her? What Republican is going to do it? Can't raise any money. No, everyone knows you're going to win. Eventually, the people start saying, stop lying to me. You've been lying to me for 6 cycles in a row. I'm not going to do it anymore. You might go, Larry, come on, Republicans. Right now, in New Mexico, there is no Republican candidate for governor of the state. The state's so blue, why bother? Yeah, already happening. I'm not making this up. It's already happening. So yes. Adirondack says, these are people who think stealing is the crime because retailers have insurance to cover the loss. True. And by the way, that's not accurate, but yes, they do think that. That's correct. They do think that. You're correct in their thought process. So yeah. All right, grab some more of these if I can. Gracie says, my husband and I love brick and mortar stores, small ones, large chains. We like to see the merchandise and give people sales commissions when we can. It's wonderful. I love that. Yes. Lunatic says, I will crash it over. Don't crash out over this. Don't do it. I need you, lunatic. If I win this thing, I will need your personal assistance. So don't. I will require you. So don't. All right. All righty. Let me keep moving down this road if I can. All righty. You guys going back and forth. I love that. Yes. Oh, you guys are going back and forth a lot. I love that. Lunatic goes on to say, the pharaohs couldn't buy their way into heaven. I will send you to your maker for less than a gold shilling until inflation. Stand down. Okay, you're going to get us all in trouble. Stop getting me in trouble. Grace says, communism and socialism kills family. Markets and communities build safe, healthy, prosperous families. Yes. Larry's a small business choice. In New York, yes. People allow businesses and neighborhoods to flourish. Yes, yes, and yes. 100%. Yes on all those things. Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. If you don't share this out with someone, D says, especially peeps in New York, you actually do want Hochul to stay until 2038. Yes, that's true. 100%. She's right. Yes. Mike says, Mom Donna, this is a great plan that not one of the city or town of New York State will do it. Yes. But of course he had a plan. But see, this is the thing, Mike. See, this is the thing. This is why Mamdani's savvy, right? This is why Trump actually likes Mamdani. And some of you are going to hate this, but I'm just telling you the truth. Mamdani's savvy. He's wrong, but he's savvy. He saw a problem, came up with a plan. It's a garbage plan. It's another credit card, but it's a plan. Yet again, he puts a video out saying, I care about small businesses and blah, 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 blah. And the average person says, at least he cares. I would ask you, Mike, what's Bruce Blakeman's plan? And you've heard me say 1,000 times. If I have no plan or a bad plan, I go with the bad plan. And the extra credit card is a bad plan, but it's better than no plan. So, yes. All righty. Typical says, okay, final comment just on a part why the economy is failing. The mindset is okay to encroach on everything. For example, the bill trying to pass to out background check. Oh, yeah, on 3D printers is very bad. Yes. At the end, the problem is your points. The problem is we think every single time the answer is more government. Every single time. Yes. Brona says open borders is a bad term. The true libertarian position is privatizing borders. That's accurate also. The true libertarian position, that's true. I don't believe that one either, but yes, I'm with you. Yes, that would be true one, 100%. So Mike says the reaction to Sheriff Hood's lie is a short clip, and the original comments were on the most recent WYSL Sharpe radio. Oh, yes, it was. Thank you. That's where it was. Thank you, Mike. I'd forgotten that one. Yes. Lunatic says, Larry, I'm trying to figure out how to create a PAC. I love that, brother. I love that. Let's do it. Kevin says, wait, is this democratic socialism just communism with more steps and fewer bullets? Well, so far fewer bullets, but we'll see. But yes, more steps. They just trick you into giving you property instead of taking it by force. Yes, yes. And that's the great part. You wind up giving you property and not realizing you do it. And not realizing. Yes. Adam says, Larry, the fixture Sharpe. You're not wrong. Yes. So Gracie says, one interview with Tucker or Hannity and Larry would win. Yes. If we could just get one. The problem is the establishment says, don't talk to Larry. If any of you have any connections, and I know people on Fox. I do. And they all tell me the same thing. Larry, I got a contract, man. I'm not joking. That's what they tell me. I got a contract. They love me, but they got a contract. I know some of you think I'm not joking, right? I'm serious. that you think that I'm serious. This is how it works. That's how it works. So yeah. Anyway. All right. So if you got a connection, I'm happy to take advantage of that connection if you have one. Absolutely. I've tried. My connections are telling me, oh, no. They were actually happier with me, believe it or not, when I was libertarian. Because they saw me as less of a threat. Now, that may seem silly, but it's actually true. They saw me. And this is the part that had actually surprised me. I thought, incorrectly, that if I'm a Republican now, that I would actually be less of a threat because I'm part of the system. No, I'm more of a threat now. They'd rather have me libertarian. Yes. Oh my God, yes. Typical says, please mess your local rep, guys. Your civic duty. It takes less than 10 minutes to say, I don't agree with this bill. Please don't pass it. Also true. Yes. Also true. Yes. All righty. So he says, oh my God, Kathy would love me. Well, she might not care if we get the job done. Just saying. Adam says, can I ask what's the point of calling them? Do you need them to primary break even with signatures? Or just... Yes. Here's what actually matters. Most people think what matters is the law. It doesn't. What actually matters is the leadership of the Republican Party, not the people, the leadership, are they afraid of punishment from the actual Republicans? Are they afraid of that or not? If more people call them and tell them, no, this is serious, then they'll let me in the primary. Not because they care about democracy, they don't. Not because they care about me, they don't. Because they care about their own seats. So if enough pressure hits them, they'll go, oh, this is serious. I may be in trouble. Let Larry in. That's why. So that's why it matters. Enough people have to bug them to where they actually do it. So yes, that's the issue. All right. Let's see here. Typical's going to say, even if Larry wins, if you don't mess your local reps, things will be harder for him. True. Yes. True. So we need more people to care. So yes, please do that if you can. Please do that if you can. It does matter. So yes. All righty. Adam says it was more of a rules-based problem, Larry. If we're allowed to do it, then great. Oh, yeah. Please do it. Yes. Okay. Sonia says, I'm already up in Kathy's post, tagging you with the pic that says Larry Sharpe for governor. The only response I get is Republicans telling me you'll split the vote. I know. I'm going to split the vote. Blakeman is behind by 20 to 15 points, 15 to 20 points, and I'm going to split the vote. If I'm actually going to get 20% of the vote, then he's splitting my vote. I hope that's true. He's the one who's splitting the vote. But yes, of course. That's the worst part. Republicans in this state have been so battered by their leadership that they still believe this stuff. It is terrible. Yes, there we go. It is terrible. So, all righty. Adam says, fine, Larry, I'll do another $50. You're so persuasive. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Every bit does count. And you're in New York. So when I get matching funds, that's $300. Look at that. So there we go. Luna says, Larry, shouldn't libertarians should care more about winning over blue collar vote? It's time the LPB voice of the working class, middle class, not being apologized to big corporations. True. I talk about middle class and working class stuff all the time. Always do. So shouldn't the LPB be pushing me up? I talk about it all the time. I'm with you. I talk about unions. I talk about people owning their own utilities all the time. I'm with you. It's about supporting small businesses, small farmers. Yep. All the time. I agree with you. So yes, I think that's true. Shelley says, Mom Donnie has a detailed plan. It'll destroy the city, but he has a plan. True. Yes. Accurate. D says, Bruce's plan. Tell Sheriff Todd Hood to spread lies about Larry Sharpe in hopes to come back to the campaign. That's easy. Yes. That's true. That does work, I guess, in certain ways. So Shelley goes on to say, Robbie Sauvé called himself libertarian, and he hasn't even asked to talk to you, so don't watch him. True. Won't have me on a show. Won't bother. And by the way, knows me. Like Robbie knows who I am. Like we've met before. I know him. Won't have me on. Because he's all about Republicans. He's probably back in Blakeman right now. That's what I would assume. So that's my assumption. That's all I can get. Yes. Mike says, are you considering trying to secure interviews in other independent media podcasts, even ones you've done before, like Ruben and Joe Rogan? Yes. However, here's what I learned, Mike. And this was a very hard lesson for me to learn. If I'm not on the ballot, they don't see me as valid. And boy, was that a hard thing for me to learn. So I thought, no, I get it, right? I'm me though, right? You still know who I am. You guys know me, right? If I'm not on a ballot, they don't see me as valid. They don't put me on. In 2018, I was on the ballot and everybody had me on. In 2022, I got sued off the ballot. Nobody had me on. So yeah, it's absolutely true. Yes. Adirondack says, Blakeman's posts have comments from a lot of Republicans who've lost hope. Yes, I see it all the time. All the time. I wish they'd see a better option here. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. That's the issue. Let's keep sharing this stuff all over the place. Yes. Laker Lifter asks over on Instagram, he says, why does New York State keep effing with all the hunting laws and regulations? Because overall, most New Yorkers still want more gun laws. I wish it wasn't true, but it is. Many of you have said, Larry, why are you only going back to 2012 gun laws in New York State? Why won't you go back further? Because that's as far as my state will go. That's why. I would go back to 1912. That's what I would do. There's just no way that New York State would go there. It is a bridge they won't go to. Can I get them back to 2012? I think yes. So I will take 2012. That's the best I can get. So that's why I'm going down that road, Laker Lifter. I think it's the right way. We'll go there. We'll get there. And look, we turn around. Maybe we can keep going further. Maybe we can. But let's get to where I think we can get, recognizing what state we live in. So, yeah. RT Borg says, legit, I see her now talking about deregulating the housing market to increase supply. Yes. Yes. Deregulate. See, she is taking, guys, it matters. It matters. Yes, absolutely. 100%. So, yeah. Adirondack says, 1912, we can get our machine guns back. I would go to 1912. I would. That's my point. I would. That's not going to happen in New York State. That we're not there. We simply not there. Can we get there? Maybe. We're just not there now. Anthony says, going to donate another $100 to your campaign. You must win New York, or I'll even think of you when praying the rosary. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. Neuroclip says, Larry, the problem still lies with the lol bulk crowd. Reason, Cato Institute, suck the corporate teat. Yes, you're right. Have they had me on? Has Cato had me on? Has Reason? They all know me. They all know I'm running. All of the people who that crowd of punditry, how come they haven't had me on? They physically know me, have met me. We've hung out before. They have my cell phone number. None of them call me. How about all the only celebritarian, the only one who does is Spike Cohen. That's it. The rest of them don't have me on. Do they have me on their shows and their podcasts? They mention my name when they're out doing TV stuff. When they're on other shows, do they even just go, hey, Larry Sharpe show? No. Nothing. They don't do shit. Nothing. They don't write me a check. They don't give me money. They don't tell people about me. Look, do I want their cash? Of course, but I don't need it. What I need is them to talk about me. They won't. Even if they said Larry Sharpe's a poser and not a real libertarian, that would still be helpful. It would still be helpful. They won't do it. They won't do it. So look, I've recognized something. And I knew it a while ago, and I'm still here. We have to keep pushing on. We just have to. There's nothing else left. We have to keep pushing on. Viva does love me. Viva Fry had me on. He's great. I like him. And from that, the other people who watch that, who will also have their own shows, they put me on. Oh, right. Never will be the case, Andrea. Never. So maybe we got to do more of that. Kim Iverson, I love Kim. Kim's a friend of mine. She's an exception, but she's not a libertarian, right? She is independent, but she's not a libertarian. So I'm happy I have her. I want her in my world. I love her. She's amazing. She'll happen again, but I should be getting it from libertarians, and I'm getting it from independents. So you're correct. I'm glad. And yes, Spike Cohen is in the Hall of Fame of Boston. That's true. Absolutely true. 100%. Yes. D says, the Republican talking heads got the memo. Talk to Larry Sharpe and you're out of here. You're not wrong. So, guys, please click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. Please do so. If you have not donated, please donate if you can. No matter what, though, please share, repost this if you can. Come visit me. I showed you where already. If you either know Republicans in New York State or are one, sign and or get them to sign. If you have any time, and I mean 10 minutes, print, and I know on my website, it says the rules are, it must be 8x14. I don't care what size paper you put it on. Don't care. Get me signatures. 5 is fine. 2 is fine. 1 is fine. I don't care. Whatever you can get them to me. We need them. As many as you possibly can. If you can get out there and talk to some people, you got family or friends who are Republicans, get them. Get them to sign. Put it on. Remember, signing doesn't mean you're backing me. Signing means you want me on the ballot. Signing means you want to have a primary. Please help out, guys. It matters tremendously. We only have a week left. That's all we got. It is important. We only have a week left. Here's a question I want you to ask before when this is over. Please head on. When you head on back. Oh, sorry. Another gift. Thank you, Kajan. Thank you for the membership. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. So, yeah. Thank you for the gift, Kajan. Thank you again. So, guys, once this is over, please comment once it's over. And I want you to comment on what do you think, besides New York being a terrible city, what's the second worst city? After that, what's the second worst city? Please do that once it's over. I will not be on until Friday. I am off to events tomorrow and the day after, getting signatures, meeting people, trying to move forward. I will be back on Friday for my AMM Sharpe Way. I will see you all